It's Double Nine Radio's 1809 0602 2021. Excited to bring back the one and only Luther Obafeyikemi back on the show with me this evening on 35 and Social. We're going to be co-hosting. Got us an amazing guest coming on as well. Obafeyikemi, how are you?
Yo. Hey, Double Nine. How are you? Hey, London. Hi, world. How is everyone?
Everyone is cool, I'm sure. They're so excited to hear your voice. I'm excited to hear your voice as well, because I'm thinking to myself, I've got the one and only Luther back on the show today.
That's right. It's the Luther.
The one and only. So what, instead of having social, we thought, we'll do a bit of a spin on it and bring back the old school way and get a guest on to share her, dating experiences, and kind of, but you mentioned, you've been telling me that this person is quite exciting. That she does. She's going to bring the roof down.
Goodness. So you guys are in for a treat. My girl, Duchess, throws it down. She is a world-renowned sexpert, sex therapist, intimacy coach. She does it all. And when Duchess and I are in a room, Fireman, get ready.
Oh my gosh! Should I be worried this evening?
I'm not sure you can cope. Two women, I don't know.
I know. Two queens on the show this evening. I don't know how I'm going to do it. But ladies and gentlemen, I might need your help. As Luther's pointed out there, we're bringing on a fire one this evening. So the number is 074 956 36899. It's 074 956 36899. If you haven't already downloaded the app, you can go straight. Actually, maybe you should still stay on the show. But, maybe during the break, go ahead and download the app. It's available on the Play Store or the App Store. Just type in Double Nine Radio, all one word, and you can get the app. You can do loads of things with the app. As you know about Obafeyikemi, you can do a lot of things. You can go on the YouTube channel. You can go on the Instagram page. And
Facebook.
Exactly, Facebook as well. And also send a WhatsApp as well on here. So, get there and download the app as well. So, I'm excited.
Let me just give a little word, guys. You need to get ready. So I have my tea with a little bit of something. I would advise you to get your drinks, your tea, and settle down for tonight's show. Because Double O and Luther are going to get it on.
Oh my gosh, she said Double Nine and Luther is going to get it on this evening. She says, go and get your glass of water. Actually, don't have water. Get your glass of wine or your glass of cognac because you're going to need that to calm yourself down after tonight's show. As well, I'm so much looking forward to it. But in the meantime, we're going to give you some more music on the break and bring on the one and only guest we have this evening. I don't want to even say her name again because I'm actually being too excited now. So, ladies and gentlemen, stick with us this evening and enjoy the vibes. And we shall be back on the other side.
We have Duchess Iphie.
We have the one and only Duchess.
Duchess. She's an intimacy strategist, relationship, sex, and intimacy coach. Say hello to the people, Duchess.
Hi, everyone. I'm Duchess Iphie. How you all doing?
Wow. My word. I think, Luther, you set me up. I can't even get my words out. You set me up this evening with this fantastic royal Duchess you have on the show this evening.
I am definitely royal.
Yes. I think Double O constantly gets tongue-tied when he's in the presence of greatness.
What can I say? What can I say? Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, I need your help this evening to help me with this wonderful ladies I have on the show this evening. But one of them is meant to be on my side. She's meant to be my co-host, but I don't know. It seems like she's friends with Duchess this evening. But hopefully, Duchess,
no.
I'm going to try and get back my friend this evening. You can't have her.
Double Nine. So the thing is that no matter what the situation, women always have each other's back. So I am your friend, but Duchess is my girl.
Can you imagine that?
That's the way it is.
She's denied me on air, straight on air. We're going to be having words after the show. We're going to have your words, but okay. Anyway, Duchess, I want to say a big thank you for taking time out to come on the show this evening. I do appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really excited. As I said before, I'm a bit nervous, but excited at the same time.
I mean, as I said, nervousness is good. But if Duchess is nervous, I must be shaking my boots. Anyway, but let's carry on. So we're here today to talk about mature dating and, maybe get some of your experiences as well and, share with us and maybe advice. And also, you mentioned you're a sex coach as well, you mentioned.
Yeah. I'm a relationship, sex, and intimacy coach, but focus more on the intimacy side of it.
Fantastic. I'm sure we'll get into that as we go on the show. But, Luther, do you want to just carry on and just ask her more about this dating thing we're talking about today?
All right, then. Okay, Duchess. So for the last 2 weeks or so, we've been talking about dating and really trying to get into the nitty-gritty. And with Valentine's Day coming on, we really want to ask you, what do you see as dating, especially in this current world where everything is online and people just aren't getting out as much? How would you define dating, and what does dating mean to you?
Oh, okay. So I will say, for me, and I'm taking off my hat as an expert, for me, dating is when you're getting to know someone. You're getting to understand whether you even have a connection. So I know some people kind of fast forward when they say they're dating, they fast forward it to a relationship. But no, dating is literally getting to know each other and making a decision on whether or not you want to take it a step further. That's what dating is to me. In regards to in lockdown, now, I think it's easier to date now. And I know some people will be like, what do I mean by that? Think about it. You're in the safety of your own home, especially if you've gone onto a dating website. You're in the safety of your own home. You're having a virtual date. You're in your house. You can be what I call wearing the Zoom outfit, where you're dressed up nicely from the top.
Right.
And nothing is happening at the bottom. But you can terminate the date when you want to, if you want to. There's not much details given out. So I think this is a good time to actually date.
I love it. And I love it. What do you think about that, Double Nine?
I don't know. She said, is it the right time to date now? I agree with the fact that she mentioned dating is, where a process where you're trying to get to know that person, try to find out who they are, trying to see how compatible you are. I understand that. But, when I think it's the first time I'm actually hearing that, on the show, that someone would say it's the pandemic time is the best time to date. I don't know. I'm a bit indecisive on that one.
I'm sure Duchess will be able to also chime in, but I think it's because, and we spoke about it the last time when I came on, was the fact that now, because we're not having so much connection, physical connection, you know what I mean? People can get to know each other properly. Isn't that what you mean, Duchess?
Definitely. And also it's the fact that a lot of people don't want to rely on other people to introduce them to new people. So they don't want to take that risk of meeting someone offline and meeting them face to face. But now you can get that connection virtually, and that's not a problem. So it's actually easier because you have the safety of a screen.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. That makes absolute sense. The new world of dating.
Yeah,
it is. It is the new world of dating, and I think it has so many benefits. But Duchess, I want to ask you, if you were to say, I know you speak to a lot of clients, you speak to a lot of people who are coming to you for intimacy issues, but how would you describe in London, what's the dating scene like in London? Do you talk to your clients about this? What is your idea of the dating scene in London?
I think, okay, that's a very good question, and I'm going to go approach it from the point of view, because that's better think about this first. So the dating scene is very different from someone at my age, because I'm in my 40s, than someone who is in their 20s.
Sorry to interrupt you. I actually thought you were 22 or 25. Oh my God, what are you using?
Oh, you are so
amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. But sorry, carry on. I just thought I'd say that. Trying to be your friend now. Luther, I'm taking your friend.
You can try, but I'm telling you, you've lost already.
Okay.
Very tight with it.
Okay.
So what I think is that the younger people are more open to utilizing the online way of dating and understanding that it's another way to communicate and to gain some sort of intimacy before them waiting for maybe the world to open up. So they're more proactive in that way. Rightly or wrongly, I'm not here to judge whether it's right or wrong. It's a case of they're using that platform to develop a relationship and determine whether or not they want to date that person and meet up when the world opens. However, I think that for people like my age, we're more reluctant. So when I say to someone virtual dating, they're like, what, just speak to someone the camera. I'm like, no, you can have a date. You can watch a movie together. You can have a meal, but you are just in your own home. These are things that you can do, but it's just the fact that because if I'm looking for someone who is my age or older and they are reluctant, it makes it more difficult for me who is open-minded to doing that, as opposed to the younger people where they're all thinking the same way. You know, social media platform is a means of communication. It's probably the first way they like to communicate before they then take it into the real world. And that's how I see the dating scene at the moment.
I agree. I totally agree. And Duchess, I think you'll agree with me. It's like when you're seeing the explosion of lots of apps nowadays, like apps like, like Clubhouse, you're seeing how people are utilizing the dating aspect and talking to each other and being able to do like little dating scenarios on there as well. Very interesting. Very interesting.
I totally agree with you. And I think actually that the advent of something like that where you don't feel pressurized to actually put some clothes on and put makeup on all the things that are associated would actually make people then more open to online dating, because they realize that actually if you can go to a platform like that where no one can see your face and you feel safe to be vulnerable, or you feel safe to, make your pitch, then the same thing can happen in the dating world, the online dating world. And that's why so many apps are forming every single day, targeting different markets, over 50s, entrepreneurs, those are like people of firemen, religious, you have Christian ones, you have Islamic ones, because they know that we are not getting out at the moment, but we still want to make a connection with someone special. I totally. So 99.
Yes, again.
Are you thinking on this?
Yes, I am listening.
I can see this.
I am listening, I am listening, and I love the way she's actually, differentiated between the different age gaps there. The younger generation would, it's a second nature to them. It's something that they would just, do without even thinking about it. But the older generation think, okay, why am I going to see in front of the screen? How am I going to get to know him? Or am I going to get to know her? I can't feel the presence. I can't feel that connection there. But, it is what it is now. A lot of applications are there, trying to promote this online dating with a lot of, looking at security as an instance, you still feel safe, but yes, there's still some risk to it as well, but that's a dating scene in London. The pandemic has kind of like evolved it into a different space, I would say.
I agree. I think that for Duchess, I want to ask you, like, you mentioned the fact that because now people are virtual, they're able to have the kind of dates that they want. And I think this segues perfectly into the next question I was going to ask you. Okay. Because of the definition that you gave dating, which is that just getting to know people, would you encourage, or should I ask you would you encourage dating multiple people at the same time? I always say yes.
I don't really sweat.
I mean, that was so quick. Don't you say hell yeah? Okay.
Oh my God, definitely. And the reason why is, I don't understand. I mean, the thing about it, people have a notion that when you say multi-dating or rotational dating, whatever the term you want to use, that it means that it has to be a physical intimacy. No, it's about getting to know someone. Why would you limit yourself to get to know only one person at a time? Because the danger of doing that is, if you are the kind of person that gets heavily involved very soon, or emotionally involved, you're going to put all your focus on that person, which can be very overwhelming and a bit intrusive. But if you have a few people that you're talking to, you're getting to know, then it's easier to keep it light and simple and easygoing till you make a decision. And okay, this is the person that I really want to date. And when I say date, now I'm taking it to the next level of, okay, I'm going to say, let me drop some people off and just say, okay, let's go a bit further. But I totally agree with you. Have to get to know more than one person, especially now. People are busy. No one's got time to talk to you 24/7, 8 days a week. No one's got time for that.
Yeah.
So if you're the kind of person that really likes the connection of communication and talking, you need to be talking to more people. You have to.
That's just sounded frustrated.
And I'm talking especially about women, because men, I truly believe that men do that till they make a decision.
Yeah.
Whether they tell you or not is a different story. But that's what men do till they decide, actually, this is the person that I want to be exclusive with. But women, we think, and I'm not saying, or let me rephrase, not all women, but most women think that, oh, okay, because we're talking, it's just you and I, and that's it. And, you know, so the women would assume that just because you're talking to one person, it's just you and them, and then it becomes too heavy. So I would say, every people that you're talking, determine the things that you like, because the things you liked 2 years ago might not be what you like now. But talking to different people gives you a different perspective and open your eyes to different things that you may not have considered at all, that you're like, oh my God, I like the sound of that. And something new you put into your portfolio, for want of a different word. So
we're building portfolios now, okay.
I said, you should see me here. I have my arms in the air. I'm like, hallelujah, Duchess, preach it. You see, guys, when we told you that we're bringing you the real deal, we're bringing you the real deal. She's going to speak to you real. Good, thank you.
No worries.
Continue, my sister. Continue.
Yeah, so I truly believe in that. And then I would also say, another thing I say about dating is you are not exclusive to your art. I'm sorry, I'm not going, you know.
Can you say that again for the people, please?
You are not exclusive unto your art. I don't care if it's a woman asking a man or the man asking a woman. Whatever floats your boat. But you are not. Let there not be any assumptions, because sometimes what happens that we get to an assumption of, oh, I thought it was just you and me. And he's like, no, when did I tell you that? Or you're not feeling him anymore. And he's like, oh, I thought we were one-on-one. No, you didn't ask me. You know, so it's kind of, remove that ambiguity, remove that
Clarity is needed.
What you want, hate it. I will not be exclusive with you until you ask me. So he knows. I'm a firm believer in telling people how you want to be dated. Then they can make a choice of whether they want to date you or they don't want to date you.
100%.
Okay.
100%.
Thank you. 99.
I agree. I mean, there's nothing I can say on that one. I agree. The measure of clarity is very important. You know, the clarity there gives everybody the opportunity to make a decision to either say yes or no. Do you know what I mean? Everyone is an adult, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Because that clarity is very important. And she hit the nail on the head right there, that you can't assume. You know, assumption is not the way. You know, have that clarity, you know, and keep it moving.
Yeah, totally.
That's it. And you know, 99, remember the last time I was here, I said exactly the same thing. And this is why I told you that, you know, if Duchess is coming on, she's going to drop it correct. Because people always take the term dating to mean, oh, we're sexually involved with each other. No, it's an opportunity for you to be able to, it's like you go to the supermarket, you buy different types of fruit. I get an apple, I get a pear, I get a banana, I get a this. And I have to be able to taste to decide, oh, okay, maybe I like apples more than I do like pears. Maybe I like kiwis today. Actually, maybe I might have pineapple tomorrow. But you have to be able to try and taste and listen and talk and just be able to get a sense, you know, of each of these.
I think, you know, you're empowering a lot of women out there. I can even see, I can visualize it in my spirit. Like, you know, some women, I smile into this comment you're making here. You know, the comparison of going to the supermarket and tasting different fruits. But, you know, you must be careful out there. You know, you don't find a fruit that would injure or cause some ulcer in your stomach because of the acidity of that fruit. So I think we should add that disclaimer in there.
That's why you're doing virtual dating.
Exactly.
The Duchess has spoken. Okay.
All right, Duchess.
Luther, I'll let you carry on.
All right, okay, Duchess. So the next question I want to ask you is basically, now that we have this new world out there, everything it's kind of, the world's kind of changing. Like, things are not the way we left them in 2019. Definitely not. Things have changed. So what would you give as tips as the do's and don'ts of dating?
Oh, wow. Do's and don'ts.
You need to just think into it.
Yes, I'm thinking into that, and I'm thinking, and I'm like, you're right. The world is not like it used to be before. And, you know, I think that the pandemic has kind of brought a realization that life is short. You don't know what's around the corner. And to be honest, you should live life to the fullest. And so for me, my tips for dating is mature dating. I'm going to use that word, mature dating. Yeah. Is be your true self. Be authentic. Say what you want. Don't accept rubbish. And when I say rubbish, it's not because the other person isn't a good person or the person. It's the fact that what are your non-negotiables? What are your values? The person that is talking to you, asking you out, you're getting to know. Do they meet those values? If they don't, it's okay to say, hi, it's nice getting to know you, but unfortunately, there's no connection. There's nothing wrong with that. Speak your truth. Be in your truth. Because at the end of the day, you're the person that's going to be with that person if you decide to accept them when they don't live up to the values that you hold dear. So that authenticity is very important in every way, shape or form. Authenticity is important. Communication is another thing that is important. Learn to communicate. Communicate your truth. In being authentic, you need to also communicate it. I always say, my birthday is very important to me. Extremely important to me. That's the day I share with no one. There is no one on the face of the planet that was born on my birthday at the time and is called Duchess. Nobody. So I let anyone who is getting to know me or is dating me or we're in a relationship, I tell you, my birthday is important. If you forget, you will find it very difficult to move on from. I might bring it up in an argument. And I will give you hints to remind you so you don't forget. It's not a case of how much do you spend on the present. It's about you remembering and making a big deal of it, even if it's calling me and just singing me happy birthday. I don't care what it is, but you've got to make a big deal about it for me.
Non-negotiables. I love it.
Yeah, and I'm open about it because I'm like, I have to tell you how you can date me so that we have a good relationship or we get to know each other, because you're not a mind reader. And sometimes we expect men to be mind readers or we expect women to be mind readers. It's not fair. They're going to fail. And sometimes we subconsciously then give them a test that they don't know that they're taking. And then they fail it. And then we say, oh, they're not good enough. Why? So we have to kind of be upfront about what we want and accept that not everyone is going to meet that. So it's being authentic, communicate effectively, and accept that not everyone is for you. Doesn't make them bad, doesn't make them incomplete. It just means that they're not for you, but they're okay for someone else. And the same with you. You might not be for them because they're looking for something else. And as amazing as you are, you're just not for them. And it is okay. Don't take it as a burden upon yourself to then make yourself go into some sort of mild depression and think it's all your fault. No, you're just not right for them. So these are the things I would say when you're dating now. Remember these three things, and it should help because it's mature dating. We have no time to play games.
Thank you, Mama.
Games? You know what? We can play games when we're deep in the deeper meaningful, and it's all part of the sexual play and all that kind of stuff. Then we can play, but at least we know the rules. But before then, be your true self.
Be your true self. That is right. That is right. So are your do's the same as in, like, do you have don'ts?
The reason why I don't
that you do are the same as the things that you shouldn't do, because you shouldn't be inauthentic. You shouldn't tell a lie about what you want. You shouldn't not sort of negotiate your boundaries. So it's basically the opposite of whatever you should do.
I would agree with you there because I have to admit I rarely focus on the don'ts, and the reason why I don't focus is because people sometimes take those don'ts to be very prescriptive, and it doesn't work like that. You have to find a balance about your don'ts because everyone is uniquely different. So whilst I can give your do's because they're positive and you can find your own variance in it, in don'ts, human beings tend to just take them as gospel. And so, but I agree with you totally. It's about not doing the things that you should do.
Wow.
I hear you.
Wow. I mean, I can't even tell you how I'm feeling right now. I'm feeling like I'm just, I'm in a woman empowerment type of situation here. But what can I say? I must speak for the man. I must come forth and take the mantle and let the man have a conversation as well. So, Duchess, I want to say a big thank you for all those questions, all those answers you've given. You've kind of enlightened me as well. You kind of opened my eyes. And I can feel it in my spirit again that loads of ladies are listening in and thinking, wow, Duchess is actually saying what I'm thinking. But I want to make it a bit more personal. Now. So now we've talked about what dating is, getting to know that person. You know, you describe what the dating scene is in London, and you said yes, you can date multiple partners because you mentioned about the virtual dating, and you mentioned about your do's and don'ts. I mean, you know, the thing that I picked out from the do's is, you know, ensure you're clear on what you want. You know, because we're not mind readers. No one can read your mind. And you have to have your rules in place as well. You know, it doesn't mean because this person doesn't want to commit a relationship, doesn't mean you can't still engage with them. You know, because if it's still within your rules, that's fine. But, you know, you've managed to overcome all those obstacles and you've agreed to go on the first date saying that there's no pandemic in place. So you've gone on this first date as well. So what would be your expectations on that first date?
Wow, okay. What am I expecting? I'm going to say something that probably men are not going to agree with, but I'm going to say it. On a first date, I'm a firm believer that if you want to go for dinner, go for dinner. If you want to go for coffee, go for coffee. I think food is better, but then I love food. So I'm just going to put that out there. I also believe that if you're going to have dinner, if he's the one that asks, he should pay. I'm not a believer of the Dutch, and it's not because I'm saying that a man must pay at every date. It's not that. I just think that if he asks you out, he's asking for the pleasure of your company. He's asking to get to know you, and he's made that effort. So he should follow through with the effort he's made of asking you out to pay for dinner.
Right.
That's it. It's not a sexist thing. If I ask a guy out, I will pay for dinner because it's me. I asked him.
Okay. So
but not everyone would agree with that. But that's my opinion. And I don't go into a date and then I don't know. I mean, in my community, sometimes we as ladies, what we do is we like to pretend to look for our wallet. I don't do that.
Oh my God.
I just sit back and I'm like,
you just sit like the Duchess that you are. Like,
yeah. But the thing about it is that I will say that you would kind of have an idea before you go on the first date what kind of person they are. If they are the Dutch kind of person, that's okay. But at least you know, so you don't act surprised. Because I have heard many ladies who say, oh, 50-50, and then they're like, oh my God, they're offended. Or a guy is offended because like, why should I pay? But there should be some sort of understanding during the getting to know you conversations that you have an indicator of how that date is going to go.
Yeah, you're right. But I must say, I've had guests on this show who've actually touched on the paying on the dates, and and had some a bit of a other point of view on it. I'll come from the point of view of a man. For instance, I had a guy on the show who said he took a lady out to this plush restaurant as well, just to kind of impress her, to say it's the first date. But on the date, he anticipated he had a budget. For instance, he had a budget of say £150. But they got to the restaurant, and she's now ordering the most expensive thing on the menu. Almost breaking the budget as well, and he felt a bit disgusted about that. I mean, what's your take on that?
Now, I am in total agreement with his disgust, and I know that sounds very different, and I'll explain why. When you are going out with a gentleman or you're going out with a lady, the idea is not to break the bank and eat something that you wouldn't buy for yourself.
I love that. Preach that. You see, I'm jumping on your bandwagon there. Please carry on. Sorry about that.
I am going to disagree.
But I want let Duchess finish. I wanted to Duchess this evening. Let her finish, please.
Even if you would buy it for yourself. So say, for instance, if I'm a steak kind of girl, I love steak. And I'm particular about my meat. However, if I'm going out with someone else, regardless of what I see on the outside, good suit, whatever, I will not make a prejudgment of how much he's bringing to the table and say, okay, I will go for the most expensive. I will be reasonable. We have to have some sort of being reasonable with the other person because it's consideration. You don't know what their true situation is. And it's the first date. They're going to be other dates where you can go as expensive as you want, where you can treat them to the most expensive restaurant that you want, so that you eat what is palatable to your taste. But for a first date, there should be some sort of consideration. If someone takes you to a posh restaurant, that's nice, that's lovely, you enjoy the ambiance. You know that every meal that you pick has an addition of the ambiance you're enjoying.
Yeah.
You know, food isn't running away. You can come back another time. You can come back with your girlfriend. You can come back by yourself. But I truly believe that going to the most expensive doesn't say well about you as a person. That's me. And I'm saying man or woman. Because it's the first date. Where do you want him to go from there? How is he going to top it?
If it's the guy that offers, what happens? If it's the guy who takes you for the first date to an expensive restaurant, does it change?
No, it doesn't matter. I'm not saying about the location, but even within the location. So say, for instance, if you go for Wagyu beef. Wagyu beef is more expensive than maybe Angus steak. Or, you know, what I'm saying is don't go for the most expensive thing on the menu, because everything is expensive. But don't go for the most expensive when there are other things that you can eat. Everything is expensive there anyway.
Yeah.
But going for the cheapest of the list, come on.
Yeah, I hear you.
For a first date, I don't understand why you'd want to do that. What are you trying to prove? Are you testing to see if he's got financial power? It doesn't mean anything. A guy or girl can use his credit card and pay for the meal, and you think he's got money, but the truth of the matter is that he ain't got nothing.
Okay.
He's just impressed.
Yeah. I mean, I want to say, I love the response, Duchess. I totally agree with you. But I've just got a comment from a listener now. I will read that. But before I actually read that, you know, going to a very posh restaurant shouldn't excuse the lady to order the most expensive thing. I think it's due to pressures of one of the questions I would ask, social media. We'll come back to that as well, because you take a lady to a restaurant, all she wants to do is take pictures. Taking pictures to post on social media. But we'll come back to that. Let me just read this comment from Fiona, who says, Fiona from London. She says, don't take her to a restaurant that is out of your budget. I don't know. What do you think about that?
See, it's not a case of he's out of his budget. He set a budget. I can afford an expensive car, but I choose to drive a Ford. It's because I have a particular budget for that particular time. Doesn't mean he can't stretch it, but it's the first date.
Mm.
If he went to a posh restaurant, he probably can afford it. But at the same time, it's a case of, I have a budget. What's the big deal about having a budget?
Exactly.
His buddy said, okay, you're going to have a meal, you're going to have a drink, whatever. But it's a case of, why are you as a person, and I'm not going to even say a woman, why as you as a person, why do you feel the need that in that posh restaurant that you must go for the most expensive thing? If it's fish you like, there are different levels of fish. If it's meat you like, there are different levels of meat. If it's wine you like, there are different levels of price. I mean, as in prices. So why do you feel the need that you must go there? If it's because, that is all that I eat, that's fine, that's okay. But it's the first date. I'm still going to say, where is he going to go after that?
Hey, question. I have another comment from another listener here. Says that I can afford it. This is Esther from Croydon. It says, I can afford it. That's why I would order it.
Yeah, but you're not paying. If
exactly,
you're paying,
but you're not paying. But you're not paying. Anyway, we're going to dwell on this. But I want to say, I don't know. Luther, what do you? I mean, I can feel your itch. I can feel the energy from you saying that it's like you want to say something towards this as well.
So after listening to my darling sister, I think I understand where she's coming from.
Okay.
The truth is, like for me on a first date, I really do. I like going to bars, going for a hot chocolate, something simple that I don't feel overly committed. Right. So I think I understand what she means. I get it now. In the beginning, I was like, hey, but I think I get it now. But I was also saying that if a guy takes you to an expensive restaurant, what is he saying, right? And in that case, I have expensive taste. I know when I go to restaurants, I never want to eat the cheapest thing on the menu. And I'm not doing it because, it's just that's what I like. So what do I do? And if I can pay for it, most times I'll pay for it for myself. But if a guy's taking me to an expensive restaurant, Okay, so can I ask you a question? You're a food. I know you're a food. I am, exactly.
So you can go pretty much to any restaurant and eat the food that you want.
Yeah.
The date is not about the food. That's not what the date is about.
Very true. Very true.
That's not what it's about. So why we making it about the food? The truth of the matter is you can come out and the next day walk back into that restaurant and order the most expensive 3-course meal there or 5-course.
Yes.
Okay? You can do
that is the reason why I took a minute and I thought about what you were saying, and I realized that that's why I believe that first dates should happen either like in a wine bar or like a coffee shop or a hot chocolate place, or just for a walk where it's very simple, because it's about just knowing whether the connection is there. And then when you have a second or third date, then those other things come into play. But for a first date, I totally agree with you, Duchess. I'm on your side. I've taken off my I get what you mean. I get what you're saying. I get it.
Okay, I think we brought her to our side. But Duchess, please carry on.
No, I was going to say that I think sometimes we forget the purpose of the first date. That is not about the location is just a place. And sometimes someone, a lady or gentleman values you enough or wants to take you to a place that shows how much they care or how much they show
Value.
or the value of whom you are and the time that you've given them. But it's not about the food. You could have an amazing day walking South Bank, drinking hot chocolate with your gloves on. You know, you could still have an amazing day. It's a location. And so, but we have to remember that the purpose of the first date is also to kind of say, okay, we've connected virtually by text, whatever the case. Do we actually vibe? Do we connect face to face? Do we still have that thing that made me want to come and meet you in the flesh? That's what it's about.
Okay.
So maybe, guys, don't go to a posh restaurant. I don't know. But, you know, you've also got to do what's comfortable for you if you feel that you want to impress her. But let's just kind of keep it casual and easy. It saves all this hassle of expensive food, expensive drink, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, fantastic. I think we've come to a conclusion on that one. You know, take her to your date, but, you know, don't eat the most expensive thing. You can come back and eat. It's not about the food. It's more about getting to know that person, as Duchess described what she thought dating was. Okay, so now we've agreed. Okay, you got to this first fantastic restaurant. The guy's paying, as you mentioned as well. So on this first date, this guy is there. You're looking at him. You're falling in love with him. Head over heels already. He's talking the talk. He's speaking the speak. But what kind of questions would be acceptable on that first date for you, Duchess?
As in, what would be acceptable?
Yeah, what kind of questions would be acceptable? Or is it like open book? You can go ahead and just dive in. Or there's certain questions you would say, no, that's a no-go.
It's a hard one, because I remember seeing something on Facebook where this lady was talking about her being asked about her life goals, where does she see herself in 5 years, and all that kind of stuff. It's a hard question to be very prescriptive, because it depends on the conversation you've had before the first date. Because now that we're in the pandemic, we're probably going to be technically dating for a long time. We've probably even got to the point where we shared so much information that by the time we even meet for a date, we've been virtually dating for like 3 or 4 or 5 months. So conversation is even easier, to the point that we're talking about things that wouldn't normally be a first date conversation. So I would say that it's continue from where you have been talking. Still don't make it too heavy. You're still trying to gauge that connection physically. So don't go with the heavy stuff. Still just kind of, oh, I remember, did you get to do that thing you said you were going to do? Oh, how did that thing that you mentioned, how did that go? You know, those kind of things to show that you remembered the conversation you had prior, or you remember that they were going to do something. You know, those kind of very easy conversation. Elaborate more on other things that you've talked about. Maybe they talked about something a goal they wanted to do, and you're like, okay, now that lockdown's over, are you still going to travel? Are you know, those kind of conversations. But don't go too heavy into the whole, what was your last girlfriend like? What was your last boyfriend like? What was your last relationship like? You know, what's your 5-year goal? Let's for that. Unless you're afraid that you're never going to see them again, and you want to write a book on them.
You'd write a book. Just to make sure.
You know, just keep it as easy as you know, and as you can, because you're meeting for the first time. So it's a different dynamic, because that screen is not there, or the phone is not there to kind of put that wall. It's now, okay, it's you and me. You know, I can see you. I can see every little gesture, gesticulation that you have. And do I like it? Do I like the way you eat, or do I like the way you drink? All those things are going on. So keep the conversation, because there are other judgments to take it as well.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for that. So, I mean, the other thing I wanted to mention earlier was about social media, you know, because I talked about, you know, the guy who's taking this lady to a restaurant, and, you know, what the trend is now, because you go on Instagram, you know, you see ladies taking pictures of the food, of you know, different things, you know. But I mean, from your point of view, what would you think, or what would you say the effect of social media has been on the dating scene?
Social media, I think social media has the positive and the negative. And I know about the whole food thing. I mean, food nowadays, especially if you go to a nice restaurant, it looks so pretty.
Boy, let's not go there.
You know, it's like a work of art. So you're like, oh, I really admire this, especially if you're a creative and you see that, oh, you like how the colors work, you like the contrast on the white plate or the black plate. You know, those things happen. So some people are appreciative of the artistry that they can see on their plate and might take a picture. But I would say if you're going to do that, just let them know, and you take one picture and that's it. Not like 5 million pictures. If you're going to tag who you are, kind of do it just before you get to the restaurant. Just quickly tag yourself. Whatever the case may be, do that. But I think that when you're in the restaurant with him or with her, you need to kind of give your focus. So social media is good in the way that it tells me about a nice restaurant and that they do nice food. Social media also helps me to get to see a wider pool of people that I might want to connect with because they like food. I mean, say I got to know Lisa, you call that, I got to know her on Clubhouse. Really, if I'm being honest, and we've connected in real life. Do you see what I'm saying? So social media does bring its benefits and its disbenefits, but that's with anything. So if a gentleman is upset because a lady is taking pictures or kind of on her phone, I think that's bad manners. You know, you can take one picture and just say, oh, so really, this is... See, the thing about it is that it's good to explain, and if you explain intelligently, and I know some people might not enjoy, but if you explain the reason why you're taking a picture, oh, I really good, look at the texture, it gives room for conversation.
Yes, yeah.
It gives conversation.
That's what I would say. So I'm a food blogger, so please excuse me, I really need to take pictures of this food. And I'm a chef.
And
you know, exactly. And then once you've done it, put your phone down, put it down, and don't go on it to see how many likes or whatever the case may be. Don't do that because it's rude, because you're meant to be connected with the person that you're with. And I'm like, don't be taking phone calls, don't be checking your social media. I think those things are disrespectful and rude because you're meant to be connected.
You're right.
So unless it's an emergency. But social media in a whole, you know, you and I, there's a whole conversation about how good it is or how bad it is. But ultimately, it's only as good as or bad as how you use it.
You're right. I mean, I was going to mention something about, you know, the facade created on social media by certain individuals on the dating scene. And, you know, that has an adverse effect on the dating scene, I would say, because you would see someone so flush, so nice, so lovely with the filters, you know, on the Instagram, on the pages, and the minute you write in real person, you'd be like, yeah, hello, sorry, I was waiting for Stacey. Are you Stacey? No, no. Do you know what I mean? You know, so I just thought, I don't know. I mean, what do you think about that?
I totally understand that you know what you get on Instagram is not necessarily what you get in real life. But unfortunately, that's the world that we live in. So I'm a firm believer in, this is me, and this might, you know, the 30 years down might not agree, is maybe have a video call and have them actually before you meet up. That's why I said the virtual dating is great. You can't put much filter on Zoom. There's not much filter you can put on. You know, it's a little bit of beautifying, but it doesn't do much. So you get to see them. You know, you can get to see them. So I would say that, yes, there's a lot of filters, but let's be honest. If anyone doesn't think that there's some sort of filtering on Instagram, then you're living in a rock somewhere. So it's kind of like, okay, let me manage my expectations. She might be or he might be as amazing as he looks on his pictures, or they might not. But actually, I'm connecting also with the person they have presented, the human being. It's not all about the looks, because it only takes one accident for that look to be gone.
Yes, you're quite right. You're quite right. Fantastic. Okay, you know, I mean, Duchess is so on point this evening. You know, I feel like, you know, maybe she had an insight into what we're going to be talking about this evening, but she's a super duper, you know, Duchess there as well. So, but anyway, I mean, I wanted to ask as well, what is your idea of a perfect date?
Oh, God.
Wow. I mean, before you
Perfect
answer
date,
the
wow.
question, I could give you. Let me give you a bit of pointers. So I've had people on the show who would say, taking down a walk down the Thames and riding a boat into the sunset and having a dinner, a candlelight dinner, maybe under the the Tower Bridge or things like that. I don't know. Do you buy into that kind of like fantasy?
I don't buy into that Hollywood notion of what is a perfect date. A perfect date is where I'm comfortable, you're comfortable, we're having a nice time, we're playful, we're laughing, we're getting to know each other. We are vibing in a way that is different to anyone else that I've met. And location is neither here nor there. I would have a good time in McDonald's, but that's me. But I think that it's not it's lovely to be on the boats in the moonlight, going underneath the Tower Bridge and all that kind of stuff. It's lovely. It's romantic. But if you're both awkward and you're not having a conversation and you're all about the aesthetics and you're like, oh my God, I need to sit this way and I need to do that way, then that can't be a good date. It might look good in pictures and might be great as a story, but as a date, it's probably not that great. So I would say that think about what would make you comfortable to get to know another person, where it's not too stuffy. If you like stuffy stuff, then fine. But, where you're more comfortable to kind of just be you and they can be themselves and you just connect. Because it's about the connection. It's the connection that takes you from a date to a relationship.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay.
Gotcha.
Fantastic. I'm so excited to have Duchess again. And my excitement just building as we go on in the show. But I must take a quick break. Let's take a quick break and we'll be back on the other side and find out more about fantastic guest, Duchess Iphie on the show with our fantastic co-host, Faye Luther. Stay on, stay locked in. Instead of having social on Double 9 Radio. Welcome back, it's Double 9 Radio. It's 1803-06-02-2021. We have the amazing Duchess Iphie on the show and our fantastic co-host today, Obafeyikemi Luther. Did I say that right? I hope so.
Luther, yes.
Because she's going to have my head after the show if I don't, because I know. But anyway, we had the amazing Duchess on the show talking about mature dating, and she's kind of giving us an insight of what she thinks dating is. Dating is getting to know someone, not physically. I think that's what she said. I hope. I don't know. Maybe. But we also asked what the dating scene is like in London. But she gave us an insight because of the current pandemic as well. It's kind of evolved into maybe more of an online and maybe using apps out there, the dating apps as well. She also talked about the do's and don'ts of dating as well, and also she mentioned you're not a mind reader. There has to be some rules in place. We also asked her about the expectations on the first date, and she says the man must pay, regardless whatever restaurant you're taking to. But also, she also told us that don't go to a restaurant and start ordering the most expensive thing as well, because something can happen, and if you don't have Vex money, you might be in trouble. But anyway, I want to say a great thank you to our fantastic co-host, Luther, who has been giving us some great questions and vibes on the show, and the amazing Duchess. So Luther, what else do we want to know from Duchess this evening?
All right. So, Duchess, I know you know from me how important appearance is. You know the kind of man I like, tall, dark, handsome.
Ooh.
So how important? So how do you? Okay, well, I'm going to ask you personally. What is the kind of appearance of the person that you would like to go on a date with? What do you look for in a man? Or should I maybe in a woman? I don't know. I don't know. These days, anything goes. But like in a partner, like what do you look for? I have to be, because the truth is we don't know. So what? I mean,
Duchess, before you answer the question, it might be an exciting time for me. I don't know. You might just describe me. I might be the one. Who knows? But I'm here waiting patiently, trying to find out if you're going to break my heart or make my heart stronger this evening.
Well, as long as you know you have to pay on the first date.
Oh my gosh!
You're happy with it.
I will pay on the first date. But don't order the most expensive thing, because I might get Vex, and if you don't have Vex money, you might be in trouble. But I'll let you answer the question.
Okay, so you asked me about physical appearance. Is that what you
Yeah.
said?
Yeah.
So the physical appearance for my man is he's got to be dark in complexion.
Ooh.
He doesn't need to have a six-pack. Just a one barrel is.
I'm just agreeing. Sorry, that's the way I'm going to agree with what you're saying.
He's got to be. See, physically, I think that's probably my major criteria because I'm all about the conversation and the connection mentally. So physically, I'm dark skinned is my thing. I have to admit, it is my thing. And six-pack, not necessarily, not a requirement. Height, my height, because I'm 5'9", so 5'9" and above is okay. As long as you don't mind me wearing my heels and you might be shorter than me, then we're good to go. If I feel loved, if I feel protected, I feel safe with you, I feel we've got a connection, then your height is fine. And you don't stop me from wearing heels, because if you stop me from wearing heels, that's a problem.
I'm sure people were waiting for me to agree to that one. I don't know, I'm going to pass on that one, but just carry on.
You kept very quiet.
I know.
What does that mean?
What can I say? I thought you were going to pick on that, but you didn't. You spared my blushes on that one. But, I'm just going to skip on that one and give any response on that one. But carry on. Sorry to interrupt anyway.
No, that's fine. I mean, I think that's pretty much it. And the reason why I gave the height, the reason why I talked about the height is that some men might have an issue with a woman standing taller than them. Not every man. But I don't have a problem, because if I feel myself, if I feel like Duchess, if I feel like I can be my authentic self, me personally, then we're good to go. But some other people, they have different criteria. But I think you should be, once you are, what's the word I'm looking for? Once you should be very in touch with what you want physically, kind of put a grading to it, because if something happens to that physicality that you're attracted to, does that mean that person is no longer of interest to you? So I always bear, and I think people should also bear that in mind. It's okay for us to have those physical attractions, which is needed, but at the same time, is put it in level of importance.
Okay.
Interesting. So
I want to know yours.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Well, I like a tall man. I like to feel like a man is taller than me, that he can protect me. I do like a fit man. I do. I think there's only room for one. I am extra. I have, some curve to me. So we can't have two curvy people. No, we need to have one flat, one curve. It doesn't work for me. So I like a man to be, well built. I do like some six-pack in action, because you have to be able to handle all of this. God didn't give me all this delight to not be handled properly. So yeah, and dark. I think for me, height is a thing. And that he's in good physical condition, yes. Everything else, I think I can. Once he has a good mind and he has good conversation and we can vibe, yeah.
I mean, I do comment quickly into that one. I understand. This tall, dark, handsome, muscly. I understand. I mean, I had a guy just sent a comment in now. He says is 5'7" and he's got a fit body. And he can take care of that. That's what he said.
If this person is 5'7".
What, is that for me?
Yes, he said his name is James. He says, I'm 5'7", and I can take care of that. That's what he said right on the comment.
Well, if he's 5'7" and he doesn't have a problem walking alongside a woman that's probably in 3.5-inch heels by 5'9", then why not? That's confidence, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's not a problem. It's not a problem. As long as there is a connection, then that's fine. But it's about me. Everyone has their own preferences.
Yes. So, my gents out there, if you're still, around 5'7", 8, the Duchess will still consider. Can they slide into your DM if they want to engage?
Are you not acting as a dating a matchmaker.
No, this is what we do on the show. We try and encourage people to get in touch as well.
What? Why not? I don't have a problem having a conversation. I like having conversations. So, I've been talking. So that's not a problem.
Okay. So what's the height limit?
What's the what? Height limit.
I'm having a feedback from one of us here. It's not me. Please do check your side. I can, is a feedback coming back from your end. Like we have a radio on somewhere. Ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize about that as well. So what's the limit on the height? Can is that a 4'1", 4'2"?
Oh no.
I heard
No. I think, if I'm being honest, I think 5'7", that's 2 inches shorter. Yeah, that's probably my limit. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I agree with you, Duchess. I think for me, 5'8", 5'7", 5'8". And I'm struggling. Even saying it, I'm struggling. But you never know. So you never know. But yeah, 5'8".
Okay. Luther, what else do we want to know from our fantastic guest this evening?
Let's see. I'm trying to see how to ask this question. All right. So we've done appearance. But do you have anything? So does your man have to have certain, character traits? Does he have to have a certain personality? What kind of character do you want the person that you date to have?
So the character is, for starters, he has to be a man of integrity. So you keep your word. If you can't keep your word, let me know. Don't just overlook it like it's no big deal. That's very important to me. I also want a man who understands me and understands that sometimes I'm going to shine and accepts that and it's no reflection or takes away from him. I'm the Duchess. I call myself Duchess. I've got blonde hair. So it's the nature of the beast, so to speak. So
nature of the beast. Oh my gosh.
I'm a house.
So, it's accepting that it's someone who is truthful, honest. Tell me what it is. Allow me make a decision on whether or not I agree or disagree. Don't make a decision for me or assume that what I'm going to say, because you don't. I like a man who is able to have intelligent conversation, and I'm not talking about book conversation because there's a difference. There's someone who is a bit too nerdy. I don't want you to be so engrossed in one particular thing. You should have an idea about different things so we can have a wide-ranging conversation. And I don't believe that a man that I'm going to be with should put down any type of subject. So just because you don't like Love Island, for instance, doesn't mean you should run it down. There's a reason why that program exists. Just say it's not for me. But other than that, and some are. And another thing is someone who doesn't make me feel as though I need to check up on them. Be confident in yourself. Be confident in the things that you do. Don't make me feel like I need to check up on you. And don't feel like you need to check up on me all the time. If we're in different places, be confident and assured in the fact that our relationship is good. Because if it isn't, I will let you know. I won't hide it. I will let you know so we can talk about it. Because I've learned from my previous relationship, so we will talk. But don't feel insecure. It's not attractive in anybody.
Amazing. Amazing. Fire, Duchess. I've spoken.
Say hallelujah, 99.
Hallelujah. The Fire Duchess has spoken this evening. So, Luther, I'll let you carry on because I am enjoying this line of engagement.
I love it. Okay, Duchess. So, you've been on a few dates in your lifetime. Now, it's true. And we all have a story about some date or the other, some guy or the other, especially as women, it's just because 99 is here. But really, how women, we talk about all these things, what that guy did, what was he thinking? So what's the most embarrassing thing that you can remember that has ever happened to you on a date? And spill the tea. Let me get my cup.
Actually, I had a feeling that you were going to ask me that question, and I really, really had a big think about it because I have going to use the word sample, but I have done online dating, and I realized that I haven't actually had a bad date. And I'll explain to you the reason why. I am a person, I can text for England. I can have a 5-hour conversation texting.
Wow.
I mean, anybody that knows I can. So I would have spent so much time getting to know you for me to then decide I want to meet you. And because, as I said, I do the multiple dating. So, I mean, I can have a conversation with 3 people at the same time. I can, texting. So I've gotten to know you to such a point that you have an idea of what I want, I have an idea of who you are, that we don't really have a bad date. We might not have a connection when we meet, but I already know that if we're going to a coffee shop, we're going to a coffee shop. If we're going to dinner, we're going to dinner. I think, actually, I remember, oh my God, I remember going on a date once.
Okay.
It was going on a date in, I met him on, oh God, I can't remember now, Plenty of Fish or something random like that. Yeah, probably Plenty of Fish. And he met me, he said, I should meet him at a restaurant in Canary Wharf. And I went. I was so nervous because it was my first time. I was sweating buckets. So it wasn't even him, it was me. I was sweating like I was about to be taken for slaughter. Nothing, the air conditioning was not cooling me down.
Amazing.
But God bless Scott. He was very understanding. And I was, as I said, I've learned to be open. And I said, this is my first time. I'm really nervous because, you hear horror stories. So therefore, this is but it was embarrassing for me because I'm sure you'd have looked at me like, oh my God, what's wrong with this lady? But with my sparkling art of conversation, I won him over. But it was very, very embarrassing for me, not for him.
Wow.
Oh wow.
I'm actually petrified just thinking about it, and I can't believe I've just said that.
Amazing. Amazing.
We've all things happen to us, Duchess, so don't worry about it. So Double Nine, pass over to you now.
Okay, I mean, I love, how Duchess is giving us a lot of insight into her experiences in the dating field, and also share the fact of how embarrassing it was for her to be sweating buckets because it was her first time she was meeting this Prince Charming as well. But you meant, I want to know. I mean, I think you actually demonstrated that as well, because what you did there, you was quite honest with the individual when you did meet him and say, you know what, it's my first time. I'm a bit nervous because of, things I've heard. But in your experience of, dating and engaging with people and all the clients you might have had, how much do you think honesty, or how much honesty do you think is actually needed in a relationship? Okay. I hear Obafeyikemi sipping a juice there and minding my business. Let me sip my juice and mind my business. Okay, Duchess, over to you.
Okay, now before I answer that question, I want to clarify. Are you talking about how much honesty on the first date, or just honesty in relationships? Full stop.
I mean, I'll let you maybe come on different angles. Whatever angle you want to come, it's a free, open table for you to, give your views on this one.
So I would say that there are certain questions that, I believe in honesty. As I said, it's a character requirement for me. However, I understand that there's certain types of honest conversation that shouldn't be had on the first date. For any reason, you are asked a question that you might feel uncomfortable responding to because you think that, actually, if I say the truth, it might set them run for the hills.
Yeah.
Just be honest. I would say I don't feel comfortable answering now because we're just getting to know each other. Be honest about it, but don't lie. Because the thing about lies is they will come and bite you on the bum later.
True.
And you know how it's all loved up, and we'll say something and they'll be like, hang on a second, when we first met, you said this. And you start thinking about, oh my God, what did I say? And you try to backtrack. So I'm just like, it's pointless. I would rather say, I'm not comfortable. If they say, oh, but how else do we get to know each other? But there are other things for us to get to know about each other. And as our relationship develops, as we're getting to know each other more, I will answer that question. You do have the right to refuse. You don't have to pour out everything on one date. It's not necessary because, if you have a bad track record, for instance, and a lady asks you and say, or a man asks you and says, why did your last relationship break up? And it broke up because you did something, cheated, whatever the case may be. I don't think it is good information to give on the first date without them actually getting to know you. because and I'm not excusing cheating, please don't get me wrong, but what I'm saying is that we don't know the circumstances of what happened. So if I say, oh, the reason my last was because I cheated, but I'm not giving you anything more, there could be 100 things that happen. The scenario could be 100 things. And if it's a hard no for you, that's fine. But sometimes you want to get more information about what happened for you to then make a decision, actually, this is not for me. It doesn't make me comfortable because I think you might be a repeat offender. But at least you get to know somebody. And even if it doesn't work as a relationship, they might be a friend. Because sometimes we think that everyone we date or must end up being a boyfriend or a girlfriend. They could actually be good friends. Because they have that you can benefit from, or they can get from you. So that's why I say don't lie. It's not necessary to lie, because just say you're not comfortable. And if they're not okay with that, it's okay. Let them go. Because you should have the right to release information that is very deep to you at an appropriate time.
Yes.
You're just getting to know it. You don't need to know everything about me. I mean, how many of us drive cars and we don't know every single bottle, what it does? Do that.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Why do we put that pressure on ourselves in a relationship? So, but I think honesty is very important in a relationship, especially when you get into the exclusivity of it. It is. But I would say that in delivering honest information, use a bit of tact. Don't just drop it like it's hot.
Don't, because the hot can cause fire, so use a bit of tact.
Yeah, so use a bit of that, but I truly believe in honesty.
Okay, fantastic. I mean, one of the things you mentioned earlier about the character of the person that you would like to date is integrity, which I think is very, very important, But I'm sure we've all experienced this one time or the other as well. I don't know about Duchess, but I need to ask this question. Have you ever had to deal with, your trust being broken, and how did you manage it?
Oh. Okay, so trust, for me, breaking my trust is a breach of my non-negotiable. It's very extreme for me. However, maturity means that I would ask you why. And if it's a case of I can't understand your why and your reason for doing it, the dynamic of our relationship will change. That's how it works for me, because it's one of my non-negotiables. That's my, it's very, I have to, trust is important to me. It's very, because I need to know where I stand. So for me, but I would ask you the question. I wouldn't just cut you off, but I would want to understand why. Because sometimes the reason why I broke to my trust might be a misplaced idea that you're protecting me. Then we will have a conversation, and I said, you know what, I understand why you did what you did, but actually it doesn't work for me. I'd rather you let me know, and then give me the power to make a decision based on whatever that thing is.
Exactly. I agree on that one.
So
okay, fantastic. And with that said, how do you think you've changed over the years? When you had to deal with situations that you just described, and how, maybe someone had broken your trust and not giving you the power to actually make that decision. If you was to look back, a couple of years, say 10 years ago, how do you think you've evolved or changed over the past few years?
Oh, I've completely changed. And the reason why I know that I've changed is I'm a very logical person. And I process with my head. If it makes sense, it's fine. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I don't understand the heart, emotional side of it. That didn't resonate with me. So I'm very black or white. There was no gray area with me, even emotionally, even in my relationships. But as I said, just like I said initially that I went through a divorce, and I realized that actually when I went through my divorce and I went through my healing process, and I saw my coach. She calls herself a head coach, and what she does is try to get people who are very head-driven to get in connected to their hearts. And that was a very, what's the word I'm looking for? It was a very interesting time for me as a person to try to understand my heart and lead from my heart and be vulnerable and be authentic. And that changed the way that I deal with everyone now. So that's why I'm always so focus. So when I'm talking about intimacy, I'm always talking about you need to be authentic. You need to be vulnerable. It's very important because when you're vulnerable, you speak from the heart, not from the head. And for me, that was work I needed to do for myself. So I then started to recognize my own truth. And I could say to you, it's not working, but you know what? It's okay. I give those kind of allowances and say, it's fine. You're not a bad person. Mm-hmm. And that has definitely changed. If it was before, don't talk to you, never going to talk to you, don't go back. That's it. I'm done. But now I realize and accepted that everyone is not for me and I'm not for everyone. Mm-hmm. So people the ability to explain their own perspective because we all have different lenses. And I hear you. It just doesn't align with me, and that's okay, and that's fine, and no problem. And I try to do that with my friends, and I try to do that with my sister because I've only got one sister, and we're like best of friends. And we went through that journey of where I had to change from being such a very strict, and she had to do the same thing. So in all my relationships, I believe that I am changing and evolving to be more authentic with them so that I'm not putting up this facade of who I think I should be or who. No, I'm me. And if it doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. Fantastic. It would resonate with someone. And that's how I carry my business and do everything I do.
I love how Duchess seems to when she says something, it kind of leads to the next question, because you spoke about your sister and you being there are only two of you. So I was going to ask you, in your dating history, has there been anyone that you've dated that your parents or your sisters or your family just disapproved of? I am drinking my tea again.
Drinking your tea.
You do. You do know I'm Nigerian. My mother only met. That's why I'm drinking my tea.
Drinking my tea.
My mother met. No, actually, I tell a lie. She did meet one boyfriend, and she didn't approve. And her reason. Oh my God, my mom's funny. She said the reason was that I was going to have ugly babies.
Can you imagine? Amazing! Wow.
That's it. And I made a decision from then that she's not going to meet anyone else. So the only person she met was my now ex-husband. So that was the way that we went. But I don't think my mom, no, she's not meeting anybody else. And no, it's okay like that. Okay my sister, no, my sister meets everybody. And she asked me, how do you feel about that person? Are you happy? Do they treat you well? If I give her the answers, because she knows me so well to know that, one, I don't lie. I will tell her the truth. I will tell her the doubts, the niggling stuff, and we'll talk about it. And she'll say, okay, you need to make a decision. But has anyone come out and said to me, oh, I don't like who you're dating? No. I've had friends tell me after the fact, and I'm like, okay, why didn't you say anything then? But they're like, you looked like you were happy and you were, and I was like, yeah, what you saw, I was happy at that time. It didn't work out fine, but then I was very happy. So even if you had said anything, I'm old and ugly enough to make a decision for myself in my relationship that I probably wouldn't have listened. So so I'm kind of I've done what I consider my own due diligence to say, actually, you're the kind of person that I want to be with because you meet my needs and I meet your needs at that current time, and that's fine.
Oh, girl, you're such you just make my heart so happy. All right, again, you segued perfectly. So, you've said a lot of things about the kind of characteristics you like, what you really sort of look out for in a person. But, let's say you have, in your friendships, your relationships, what are because I almost can tell the kind of people that you want to have around you, but, what do you value most about your relationships? And I'm going to say relationships because, yes, dating, but also friendships. Because for you, it sounds like if friendship is a very important part of your dating life.
I like openness. That's my criteria. If you're closed, we don't hang. It's a simple, we don't hang. Because I don't understand why we would be friends and you're closed to me. I don't understand. My brain can't compute that. Because you're not my friend, you're my acquaintance. So I can't give you my time. So if you're close, slowly but surely, you would get moved to the outer. You won't be in my inner inner sanctum, so to speak. You'll be slowly moved out because I want people that I can trust. And it's not about the case that, oh, I want to know everything about you. It's a case of don't be evasive, because I wouldn't be evasive with you. I'd rather say to you, you know what, I can't talk about it now, but you know what, I will tell you soon. But don't be, I can't understand why people like to be evasive. I don't understand it. So for me, openness is important. That's probably a big criteria for me. And across every type of relationship that I have. Because if you're not being open, all I'm going to do is ask you why. My friends are like, oh my God, Duchess can ask why for England. I'm like, if I ask you why, that's fair. If I don't ask you why, trust me, I have no interest in what you said, and I do not even hear you. But if I ask you why, that means I heard you, and I want to understand. And that's how I show you that I care about you.
I love it. I love it. I love it so much. Again, this is now just giving the perfect space for this next question, which I'm almost scared to ask, but I'm going to ask it. And I have my tea. Do I need some brandy? Let me see.
You might need a cognac on this one.
So, you talked about how friendship is so important to you. In your dating life, like, have you ever been tempted to date someone, not that your friend is dating, but someone that your friend has already dated? You know, girls, we have this code. I don't know. But sometimes I think, especially as we're older and mature dating, is it okay to date someone that your friend has already dated? Like an ex. They've broken up. What's the big deal? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? That's your floor is yours.
My head agrees with you that what's wrong, but my heart doesn't. And the reason that my heart doesn't agree with you is because it depends on how that person feels about the person they broke up with. If they still have an emotional connection to them, whether it's love or hatred, it's still an emotional tie. So that means anytime I'm around that person and they come around, I am bringing up something in their psyche, and I don't know if it's fair for me to do that to my friend. That's why that's the reason why it's a conflict for me, because I agree with you head-wise. I totally agree, but it's that thing that would I do that to my friend because she's my friend? If it's an acquaintance, well, I don't know. But if you're my friend, I don't know if I want to do that to you, and that's the reason why I say the girl code, or even the bro. It's important, but it's perspective, because truth of the matter, she might have no feelings. She might be completely indifferent. But then I would say, then have a conversation.
Have a conversation.
But if I know without even having a conversation that when you mention his name, her eyes roll, she's like, oh my God, that person, then yeah, if you choose him, you're going to lose your friend. She might not say, you'll lose your friend. And it's like, you then have to weigh up, is it worth it? It might be worth it, and that's okay, but you know that something's going to give.
Amazing.
Double nine.
Duchess is on fire this evening.
I give you the floor because
I know. Duchess is on fire this evening. I'm just here, listening in attentively to all these gems that she's dropping on the radio this evening. But I think my listeners have been listening in too. They'll be so intrigued about Duchess this evening. And we've got some questions that have come in. I think I'll ask the first one. This is from Laura in Kensington. Laura says, have you ever dated below your standards?
Ooh. Wow.
Yes, I have dated below my standard, and I was initially okay with it because it was a conscious choice. So I said I dated someone who wasn't making a lot of money. I dated someone who... So you remember when I alluded to the fact that my friend said, oh, we didn't think it was right for you, but actually we didn't say anything. That was the reason why they felt I was dating below my own standard. But the time we were together was good till they did something to break a bit of my non-negotiable. See, my standard, the non-negotiable you didn't break, but once you broke them, slowly my eyes began to open to the other things that weren't right, that I had been overlooking because I was into the relationship and invested in it. And then before I knew it, I was like, nah, I can't do this. It's just not working. And it ended. He wasn't happy, but I knew it wasn't right because we were getting to the point where I was snapping at him, and I was then becoming the woman that I didn't want to be, which is acting as though I was better than him. But was because I had now reached the point where I was like, actually, you're really breaching those values seriously, and I'm telling you, you're not listening, so it can't work. So, yeah. So it has happened. I don't think you should. If you know what your standards are, stay with your standards, because it just makes sense. And it depends on what you define as standards. Some people it's financial, some people it's educational, some people it's characteristics. It depends. But I think if it's very important to you, then stay within it.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, we have another question from Victoria from Hendon. Says, have you ever walked out on a date? If yes, why?
Oh, no. I haven't walked out on a date. You probably had, but I haven't. And the reason, as I explained before, is because I get to know them a lot. So by the time we meet up, it's almost like a reunion as opposed to a first date, because we've been chatting for a while. So I found out that actually we've got things in common. We're laughing, we're playful, because I like the idea of playfulness, and I like the idea of being able to joke and laugh. So those things are important to me. So we already do that. So no, I've never walked on a date. No, it's not happening.
And I just have to clarify, because it seems like the thing is, I'm exactly like you, Duchess. So I get to know guys first of all before I date them, before I go on a date. So definitely, I haven't walked out on a date before.
Okay, just teasing you.
Okay. I'll take this final question. This is from Kemi from West Ham. Says, how do you decide it's the right time to get down?
Ooh, Duchess.
Okay. When you feel it's the right time. There's no prescription. I know someone like Chief Harvey would say, 90 days before the 90 days goes rocket,
90
but
days,
I don't advocate to that. I'm kind of like, if you feel it's right for you and you're ready to get down and you feel comfortable and you know that after the act you're going to feel no shame, no guilt, then go for it. The main thing is that I don't want you to go through it and then afterwards you start to regret it. No. That's the bit I don't advocate for. Don't feel pressurized. If you feel it's right and you're like, you know what, I just want to enjoy being with this person and I want to be physically intimate with him or her, and it feels good and I'm going to enjoy it and I feel a connection. First date, last date, 30 days, 50 days, whatever. Go for it. But please ensure that you're not regretting afterwards.
Fantastic. Wow. The time is going so quickly. Duchess, I want to keep you here till next year. But I can't do that because Duchess is fire. It's been an amazing show so far. I've had a great time on the show, finding out about, the experiences of Duchess and a mindset around the dating scene, around mature dating, I should actually point out. We knew about what she thinks about what dating is as well. She says dating is when you get to know someone. I don't know, physically, emotionally, I don't know. She never really gave us that. But, you can choose to know what she meant by that. And also the dating scene as well has been affected by the pandemic and now making us all do Zoom, meetings as dates as well. And she also mentioned you can't use filters on Zoom. So maybe all those facade on the Instagram has been, eradicated. Who knows? What are the do's and don'ts? She says, I'm not a mind reader. You have to tell me what you think. Again, sorry, I'm getting that feedback again from your side, and it's affecting our listeners. We're getting messages in. Please check your end, my fantastic guest and co-host on the show as well. So, what expectations on the first day? She says, she's not a mind reader, but she has her rules, and you must pay on the first date. But she's not going to order the most expensive thing on the menu because she can come back and eat it all by herself. And she says as well, integrity is very important to her. And if you break a trust, that is it. You can't come back from that. There's no way you can get back from that because it's Duchess, the fiery Duchess, has spoken. She's a woman who knows what she wants and go for what she wants. She says she was considered a 5'8" person, but not a 4'1" person. I'm sorry, fellas, I did try. But what can I say? I have a fantastic co-host as well, Luther Obafeyikemi as well on the show as well. Luther, what do you want to add to the wonderful Duchess this evening?
I just want to say thank you so much, Duchess. We have so much fun talking off radio that I knew that it was going to be amazing on radio as well. Thank you so much for your amazing questions. And guys, I'm just going to plug Duchess because I know she won't do it. She has these amazing intimacy cards that she's launched. I've gotten mine. So you guys definitely need to. I'm going to leave Duchess to talk about her intimacy cards, but Valentine's is coming.
Where's your boyfriend?
Where's your girlfriend?
Where's your boyfriend? So, Duchess, tell us about this. This is intimacy cards. You know that we might even have some to give away on 99 Radio, but you guys need to buy yours first.
No worries. Okay, so the intimacy cards. So I don't know if you'd been listening from the beginning, and I was talking about communication, and what I'd realized that over time with my coaching, with talking to my clients, that what had happened is that over time, because we change, we don't actually communicate that our needs have changed as well, or that we look at things differently. So I wanted to create a deck of cards that allowed you to have communication about your relationship and about your sex life on what you want, or to try something new, or just to even converse about something that's been troubling you that both of you have noticed, but you're kind of scared to discuss. So the whole idea is you've got 52 cards in a deck, and it's for 52 weeks of the year, and you pick one. Some of them are conversation prompts, some of them are dares, and you have dare nouns, ones that you need to do straight away, or some that you have to plan. So you have something like a conversation prompt is something like, you don't like making love with the lights on, why is that? Or tell your partner how much you love them, or why you're grateful they're in your life. Then there is a dare like moisturize each other, and then whatever happens. You know, go with no underwear on, and how does that make you feel? Or spend the day sending love, sexual messages to your partner, or write them a poem with paper and pen. So just little things that kind of just remind you of why you got together, remind you of the things that you love to do together, tells you about the things that have changed that you need to do something about, but most importantly is about having a conversation in a non-judgmental way that is safe for both of you. And that's what it's about. And you can get it at www.theintimacycards.com.
Fantastic. And you can also follow her on Instagram as well. Please do share your Instagram handle as well for our listeners.
Yes. My Instagram handle is Duchess_Iphie, Iphie, and if you go into my bio, you can get the links to my coaching course, free initial consultation, my cards, and just more about me.
Fantastic. It's been amazing having you on the show this evening. I've had such an amazing time on the show, and hopefully maybe you can have you back at some other time on the show. It'd be great to have you. So I want to say a big thank you again, Luther Obafeyikemi. It's been great. It's been wonderful.
Thank you.
I'm sure we all enjoyed the show this evening. I'm back again tomorrow on Canada Expression Sunday from 6 p.m. with the amazing co-host, our relationship consultant, Fumi. Trust me, you don't want to miss the second half of the show from last week as well. But stay locked on, stay locked. We're going to give you some more vibes this evening to get you in the mood. Make sure you do a refill on that wine glass or that cognac. It's been amazing. It's been great. It's your host, Double R, and the one and only Luther.
Luther Obafeyikemi. Call my name.
Oh, your name? I know. So, yeah, am I going to get fined now? Okay, I apologize live on air. It's Obafeyikemi Luther. I just love the Luther on that name. What can I say? She sounds like a superhero, but she's our superhero on Double R Radio. You know, Duchess, I want to say a big thank you again for coming on the show. It's been amazing. It's been great. Have a great time. Have a great weekend, and we wish you all the best for the future.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Duchess.